8:30, let's call the meeting to order. Good morning, everybody. Do we have any public comments? Any public comments?
You know, I would say that Ragby has come and gone.
Yay. Oh, yeah.
Any other public comments? All right. Do we have a motion to acknowledge the minutes
From 7:22 and 7:23.
All right.
So moved.
7:24.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Perfect,
I wasn't fully, well, maybe I would, but
but not about minutes. Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay, good morning, Tony.
Good morning, supervisors. I don't have a lot to talk about this morning. Everything that I have any need, I guess, to discuss with you would be on the agenda a little bit later on. We had a couple blow-ups over the weekend up on Packwood Road. Crews are up, working on those. We've got some brush that was obstructing mailboxes that will be taken care of this week, but at this time, I'm not aware of any damage from the storms. There was a pretty good light show this morning when I was driving in. And according to the weather gauge at the office, we got about 3 inches of rain, and looking at the fields coming in, there's a lot of standing water. I don't think we had any damage that I'm aware of yet. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. I just haven't found out about it. Other than that, we're putting rocks on roads and grading.
Did you find out anything about that dust control?
I emailed Melanie. I have not had a response.
She's probably busy with Friday.
I will
All right,
pester
great.
her again this week on
All right. All right, we will move on, meet with David Ballmer.
that. Yep.
Alliant Energies, so I talked with him, if you wanna, come up here, welcome to, about our outage at the courthouse that cost us some money, and I think I sent you that invoice too.
Yep.
And then I know recently, the last storm that blew through, the power was out, that was like a couple weeks ago.
It's the beginning of September, or was it September 15th when that mini derecho went through?
That one,
That one, yeah, yeah. So I show,
September. It would have been, not
What?
September, it would have been,
last September,
no, like 2 weeks
July.
ago,
2 weeks ago,
July.
yeah, September 15th, that little mini derecho that went through. That Monday,
September's in another month, yeah.
I'm sorry, July 15th.
Yeah.
Sorry, July 15th.
All right,
Yeah, you put the right month in for the 15th.
Well, they could have gone by and I wouldn't.
No, sorry, I apologize. So I showed 3 before then. Is there a way I can share the screen that I'm looking at? Probably not. I printed it out and it was so small you couldn't read it. I couldn't even get to read it, but I show on March 3rd, we had high winds and the lines were dancing, and you had 3 occurrences then on that day. Blinks, 2 were blinks and 1 was a 36-minute outage. Then we had 1 on April 22nd. We had 2 on May the 2nd, 7/3, and then the 15th. Since then, we went in and done clearing on 7th Street with trees. That was the issues with probably 4 of these 5. So we went through and cleaned all the trees along 7th Street there. I can't promise anything, but we believe that was the occurrence of most of these were tree situations and wind that was causing us. So watching it forward, I would not anticipate during storms, we would see as much because we were able to do that clearing on 7.
Is that, the last one we had, and I don't know if it was the 15th or not. Like it was not that long ago, but that's neither here nor there. We lost power in the entire town.
Yes, that would have been, I believe that was the one, because I was up all night, Monday night, the 15th. And we had wind that came in and the 69,000-volt transmission line that came into one of the subs that feeds the main part of town, we had issues with. because of the feed that they had. And that's why most of the town was out, because of the transmission feed that was coming in.
We're gonna line go down at ambulance base.
Okay.
What was that one? Do you remember, Judy?
It was something that a line couldn't fix, IT or.
Yeah, it was ITC, the transmission line. That's what I was talking
Very
about. Yeah.
top one
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
came off.
Yeah.
They had to fix it that night, yeah.
Well, part of the reason we've had this conversation is, it's gonna sound weird to you, but I can come in the morning and I know we've lost power because
Because
I
that
clock
clock's
go
off. Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah.
And we lose power all the time here in Courthouse. And sometimes it's not even due to any storms or anything going on. We just lose power.
Yeah.
And nobody seems to know why. And then usually it's overnight, right, Shannon? In other words, we notice it when we come in the next day. And I don't know if it's something here, but not this one that you're talking about where we lost
Nope.
power all over town,
But you're saying you see it.
when others don't.
Okay.
And I know the one that we're talking about, where she's talking about the bill, there was a power surge or something because it took out our server.
Okay.
And we got all kinds of surge protectors and
Yep.
stuff on that
Yep.
server. And like I said, I'm not smart enough to tell you. I just know that when I come in and that clock's going backwards,
No.
that we lost power.
So I'm only showing these, but if you're seeing others, I would suggest we put a monitor on and leave it there for a while. And then when you see another one, then we can pull that monitor and say, okay, it was us, or it's somewhere between us and you.
Yeah.
That the electricians need to look at that's causing the issue and try to pinpoint what's going on, if that makes sense.
I'm all for that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
I think that would make sense.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's out here.
Yeah,
Quite a bit.
something's fishy, right? And I don't know what that would be. I don't know whose fault it would be, but if we put a monitor on there, we can at least try to pull, it'll show us
Right.
where those surges might be or what the problem is, if it's coming back at us or going to you, and it'll tell us what's going on.
Good, that would be very
Okay.
helpful.
So we'll probably put it on there and leave it like for 3 or 4 weeks
Okay,
and see what's going on, or maybe till we get an incident that you can call me and say, hey, the clocks are off today. Go check those monitors.
okay.
On the other side, where you sent me the invoice and stuff, you are more than welcome to file a lost cause. I would preface that by saying in our tariffs, we are not held to provide you power 100% of the time. So those are harder invoices to get refunded on, I would say, but you are welcome to go down that road if you want.
And what does that involve?
Just it would be involved with our insurance person that oversees that, sending it to him and then getting a response from him on what his view is on that.
That's all we want to do, and we've turned it into ICAP. I'll wait and see.
Yeah. I don't think that, we got a letter from PCS. They're the ones that, involved that IT stuff for us, and, we forwarded that on to Joe Benz, our ICAP representative.
Okay.
So we're
They're,
kind of-
they're pretty good about it.
Okay, right.
we're already doing
And
that.
you do not have a generator to cover the
No.
courthouse, okay.
Do you have, I know a lot of the companies have foundations or equivalent to
Yeah.
those that do, if we wanted to apply to get a generator.
Yeah, the
Oh.
foundation does not cover that, no,
Okay.
no, it doesn't cover that. I don't know that does it cover Homeland Security and your emergency management group? Is it covered underneath the federal funds to put a generator in? I believe, and I'd have to verify this, but I believe some of the counties have went after some money like that to put those generators in.
Our EMA coordinator is on, I believe.
And I don't know if that's the case or not, but I believe, so for some reason, I'm thinking some of them went after money for that.
And I know that's like a certain time they open that up and
Okay,
things. I think
okay.
we can follow up with him, but yeah, he was on his, but I know he's got other things to do, so.
And we don't need a great big one. We can, in talking to emergency management coordinator, we can go to Lowe's or Menards, whatever, and buy one for the ambulance space that'll run our radios and our.
Yeah, keep the radios going and keep the server backed up,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
the
keep those
door.
2 things
Yeah.
going, yeah.
And, because our doors can't, out
Yep.
either.
All
So
right.
we can put those monitors, but I hate to knock on wood and say that trim trimming is gonna
Right.
solve all the problems, but I think that was our major problem. And,
Thank you.
Fairfield's a town that we kind of don't trim as aggressively as we do some other communities, because there's a lot of people that have emotions to the trees and stuff, and that.
I think I got it.
And we aren't as aggressive as we are in some other communities, I
I
would
get
say.
emotion when the power goes off the middle of the ball game or a race.
I- So noted.
So I would ask whoever's going to come to do that to touch base with Shannon, so, and more specifically Dave, but she can direct you how to get to Dave.
Okay.
In the auditor's office.
You can just email me your contact information
Yeah.
and we'll get that set up. So we'll get those set up. We'll let them sit there. And like I said, if next week you come in and say, hey, something's happening, we'll pull them real quick and see what's going on. I'll let you know when we get them up and they're operational. And then we'll kind of go from there to try to track this down and see what's going on.
Sounds good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Perfect, not a problem.
All right.
I should say, when was the last time we did, I don't know that we've ever done an energy audit of this facility or of any of the county's
We
facilities.
did that probably about 7.5 years ago.
Okay, so
or
we can
7
do, we
years.
can do that
It was
every
right
5
after I
years.
started.
So are you interested in doing that again? There's no charge.
Yeah.
And it'll just tell you where kind of the, low lying fruit is. You can maybe pick and do some lights and things like that that might save some money if we can set it up on that
Over
side.
the years, in the last 15 years,
We've done the,
all the lights. and-
Lights
and
right after I
we've
started.
redone all the wiring in the building from top to bottom.
Okay,
And,
done the mini splits and all that stuff.
yeah. Yeah,
But
that was,
It's time to redo it. Yeah.
okay, I'll put that down. We'll get that done and we'll go from there. Anything
Thank
else
you.
from me?
No, thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome.
appreciate it.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Meet with dinner, ambulance director. Good morning, Judy.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were having to recuse my minutes.
Okay, so here, I went ahead and printed out the same spreadsheets I gave you guys before, of what was from October to when we were approved. But the front sheet that you see there, that's everything that we have generated each month. And
good,
this month
thanks.
we're up to 66,000. This is the highest month we've had. So things are really starting to stream in now. So I thought I'd show that to you. Cheyenne will be on Zoom. I told her at 9:15.
Okay.
To you guys, so
That's fine.
I know she's in a current meeting right now. I did check, we've had 1482 for calls, 1,482 so far, so we're on track to hit 1,500 plus this year. And that's probably average for the service.
Okay.
That's pretty much, like I said, and I'm on those spreadsheets that I gave you, one of them includes all the calls from that time period. Everything's highlighted for dollar amounts, and the other one is just Medicare and Medicaid calls that is outstanding for that time period. So I know Lee was said something about talking to her about that today, and she's on Zoom, so I thought I'd print it out for you.
Good.
So can I go back to the front sheet for a second? please?
Yeah.
So I understand what you have highlighted is what we've actually collected. Okay.
Yes.
So for example, I don't know, it says month 202. So that'd be,
Yeah, it has the year and then month.
okay,
So like,
Mm.
it'd be 2401, 24, which would be January.
okay,
then
so
02.
January of '01,
Yeah,
net charges were 147,000 and some change, right?
yes, and.
We only collected $5,600.
Now, some of these other amounts that you're seeing, that's just what we brought in that month. That does not mean that that's all we got for that whole month that we ran calls. That just means that's how much revenue came in. Now, some of these other calls, these dollar amounts, they may include some of those calls from January or February. It just depends on how insurance pays and how quickly they get.
So in April,
Out of all the revenue that we've done, this is what we've collected per
Right.
month.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Tell me again, what was the date that Medicare was approved?
12/13.
Thank you.
So that spreadsheet has everything from October 1 to December 12th on it for both Medicare, Medicaid, and then everything combined total.
so in the back page shows me what,
So there's two different
No, I'm
spreadsheets.
sorry, that's not the back page, the one that's highlighted in yellow.
Well, you got two different spreadsheets.
Oh,
The
okay.
first one is just your Medicare, Medicaid,
Okay,
or no? Yeah, I believe that is. So, hold on.
The last one's Medicare, Medicaid.
Yeah, the last one is just your Medicare, Medicaid.
okay,
But this first one is every call that was during that time frame when we weren't pre-approved, our insurance wasn't through yet.
Okay.
From 10/1 to 12/12. And the highlighted amount is it's 216,151.99 that is billed out.
build out,
Mhm.
okay.
And it will show you if we've received on those columns, there should be stuff, if we've received anything on the bills during that time. If you look down at like, things like the third or fourth one, we received $101.88 out of the $959 that we filled out for that call.
Well, we just round figures or, we've always, you and I've talked, we've always figured in terms of on average $500 a call.
Mhm.
Are we pretty much in that ballpark?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, some of it just all depends. It depends on what Medicare, Medicaid, what they're gonna pay. Like I said, that one on that first spreadsheet, if you go down, it's like, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth one down. We only received $100
Right.
and it was a Medicare insurance.
Yeah,
Medicaid is even worse. The reimbursement on that is not very good. We had one, if you go down Iowa Total Care, we billed out $1,200 and we got $137 out of it. So it all depends on what the insurance wants to pay and the contractual agreement. And your Iowa Total Care, Medicare, Medicaid does not really pay out very well. So I just went ahead and
Thank you.
copied those. So if you guys have questions when you're talking to Cheyenne, there's at least those there. Stryker was down last week, 52. I think I told you guys all that. Over the weekend, we're having problems with the new ambulance caught again in 53. Thank God it's still under warranty because now it will not lock the cot into place. The cot will not raise up and down. So he is coming Wednesday. I emailed him first thing this morning. They're coming down Wednesday at 7 o'clock to take a look and see what's wrong with that. It worked fine until yesterday morning. Our base radio is getting installed from Electronic Apps on Tuesday. They'll be here tomorrow morning to start working on that. I did get the grant for the Lucas to go through. I got an invite for the banquet on August 22nd to accept the grant for that from Jefferson Greater County. Other than that, they were pretty busy yesterday. I think they had 15 calls. Ran pretty much all afternoon. We had 3 stacked calls at one point with a crew coming back from Iowa City and one out on a call, but they prioritized them and handled them appropriately. And they were pretty busy last night, it sounds like too. Overnight. So.
Thank you.
And that's all I got. Anything else, guys?
Move on.
so we have in this
Mhm.
spreadsheets that you gave us, is that time frame that we're talking about where they dropped the ball on it?
Yes, that's from October 1st to December 12th. That's all the runs that we had that we billed out for.
Okay.
And like I said, that top one is just showing you what we have collected each month, and this is the biggest month we have. I would assume we're probably gonna stay anywhere from 50 to 60,000 a month. So,
Very good. Yes, all right. And then we will. 9:15, talk with Cheyenne. Discuss and approve purchase of 1994 Kenworth truck for secondary road department.
This will be the tow vehicle for our new belly dump. Helps us haul more of our pavement surfacing ourselves. Brian and Billy kind of scoured the used vehicle countryside. came up with this pre-emissions with engine rebuild and I believe a transmission rebuild, so it should be not quite as good as new, but a lot better than most. And it's the type of vehicle that we have a lot of experience with. I mean, Brian's got a high level of comfort with that. We send the mechanic to go through it with a fine tooth comb because he's the guy who's gonna have to fix it. And then we had one of the drivers go along with him and just kind of give a tour around the block, and it's within our budget for what we had hoped to spend. And so I'm feeling pretty fortunate just because of the economy and the way things are. I was afraid that our $50,000 budget might not stretch to find something that was handy, but looks like we found one. Your approval will,
So is this 48.6,
yeah, 48.
the price?
Yeah.
So you need a motion for that?
So yes.
So moved.
I'll second it. Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Sure.
Sorry, Dwayne.
That's all right.
Um,
I may or may not be able to answer.
well, I know, but it does say OBO, so just out of curiosity, even though we say 48.6, if you throw 45.5 out there, see if they take it or something.
Well, they were asking 80 to start.
Yeah, well, I just noticed it says OBO, call it hidden information for more info. Okay. Anyway, I just figured nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
All right,
It's fair.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Review and consider quote from Iowa Bridge for replacement of expansion joints on Merrimack Bridge.
This is something that's been needed done for a while. Because the length of that bridge, it has expansion joints at each end and then one in the center. And we've replaced them once prior to my getting here. And the gravel that gets transferred, that travels due to the traffic on that road as it was gravel, would get down in that joint and pretty much destroy the rubber polymer that is in there to act as an expansion joint. We're fairly comfortable now that we've got a chip seal on that we're not going to have that volume of aggregate. I think if you look at some of the pictures, you can see the huge pile of stone that is accumulated underneath that.
Yeah.
So we won't be moving the material that causes the degradation and the failure of that joint. So I'm hopeful that this is more of a long-term fix than what we've had in the past with it. Iowa Bridge seemed to be the only people that were interested in it, and they're relatively local, so it's convenient for them as a filler job.
And
There are other contractor that we use for maintenance work has done that type of work, but they wanted to try and work it with a patch job, and we're not having them doing patching this year, so
okay, you got this in your budget? All right.
it's part of our bridge maintenance item.
I'll make a motion, we approve $18,120 for this.
Second.
Do we have any discussion?
On photo number 6. Right,
Shows that crack?
yeah, is that something that this will take care of or help? Or?
No, the crack is something to keep an eye on, but it's not.
Always good it's on here.
It's at an angle, and there's actually reinforcing bars in that kind of run through at a right angle to where that crack is, so that should keep that crack from getting any worse. And if bridges abutments fail, they'll either split vertically or a dog ear like that when they design reinforcing steel, they orient it in such a way that when you get that failure, you still have the reinforcing there holding it in place. So as long as that's all it does is crack and displace a little bit, we don't have issues with it. It's when those things start to expand or move, that they become a nightmare or more of a concern.
Any other discussion? All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty, Cheyenne is on now, so let's go back. To meet with Cheyenne from EMS and Seabuilding Company. Morning.
Good morning. How are you all?
You're good. This is Susie Dresch. I'm DeSanquist Legal Mat.
Nice to meet you all. And hi, Judy.
Volume that up a little bit.
No, I don't think there's
Give me
any.
just 2 seconds here, and I'm going to share my screen and just go over a couple of questions that you all had. Okay, so I know that you all had questions about the revenue on past claims as well. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen briefly, just to show you exactly where we are already for this month. And then also show some charts to give you a better picture of where we are. Okay, so sharing is not turned on, so I'm going to just talk.
Let's see if we can figure this out.
Okay.
I should brought my computer, I guess.
I never got it.
It's one for this continuum.
Do you know how to do this, Shannon? Yeah, I'm not sure we can.
That's okay.
I should buy a laptop or something like this.
So what I'll do is I'll just give you a rundown of the last 3 months revenue, and then try to just speak through everything, and then you all let me know if you have any questions.
Okay.
So in May, we brought in $53,916.20. And then in June, we brought in $46,495.77. And so far this month, we've brought in $64,055.70.
She's looking at the paragraph that I normally give you that is, so the 66, there must be something that's not added to that yet. I mean, not about.
Sure.
So sometimes our numbers, just like Judy said, sometimes our
Right.
numbers will fluctuate just a little bit, so we know
close to
exactly
what-
where we are.
Yeah, they're close to what she gave us.
And then for billable trips for the last 3 months, including this month, I'm clicking through pages here, so give me just a second. For May, we billed out a total of 134 transports. For June, we billed out 158 total. And so far this month, we've billed 83. Majority of your payer mix is Medicare aged patients. So that's your primary insurance. And then your second one is insurance, so commercial insurances. The third percentage is roughly patient responsibility. And as we know, unfortunately, our patients do not like to pay their bills. So we're expected about 3% collections on those. But I'm glad that it's a higher Medicare rate rather than a patient rate.
What's our percent of Medicare?
Your payer mix for the last 12 month, or well, roughly 12 months, as long as you've been with E EMSMC, your Medicare percentage is at 56%. Your patient is at 17%. Your commercial insurance is at 12%, and your Medicaid is at 14%.
Is that a little different than the pie charts?
It is, yeah, because
Yeah.
the pie charts that I give you just go by month.
Okay,
I can get one that does whole years,
Got it.
but the ones that I usually
No,
bring
that-
here, they're just what is in that month.
because on our monthly pie charts, it had the commercial higher than
Mhm. Yeah,
that
it's
and the
51.
Medicare lower,
Yeah.
so this was helpful, thank you.
Yep, yeah.
And I know there was some question about insurance and payments not exactly where expected that you all think they should be, but I do want to make sure we're taking into consideration patients. We're and this is being generous. Some of the client or customer success reps, they'll say 5%, but I'm usually always stickler for a 3% collection rate on anything out to patients. Medicare has their own fee schedule. So Medicare, they will only pay 80% of the Medicare fee schedule, and then 20% is relying on patient or secondary insurance to pay. And Medicaid always has a very low base rate that they will pay as well. And so for those, that's roughly where we are currently. Is I just want to make sure we're taking those into consideration as well.
Do you work with any other county ambulances in Iowa?
I'm sure we do. I grandfathered you all. So you previously, your CSE was Josue. And whenever I took you on, you are specifically my only Iowa client. I do have another CSE and she has quite a few Iowa clients. So yes, I do believe we have more Iowa county based
Could you send us
services.
the list, please, at some point?
I will double check with my CSD, my director, to confirm that that is acceptable.
Sure.
Each agency, just to make you aware, each agency is going to be a little bit different just because the payer mix,
Right,
their residents might have a different payer mix than Jefferson County.
well, we understand that. I was just curious as to what other counties use your services.
Absolutely.
I don't need any numbers from them or anything, just a list of counties.
So Cheyenne, I've got a question, and this was before you took over our account. Well, I'm sure you're well aware of it. There was a period of time there, roughly 2 months, round figures, maybe less, maybe a little more, I don't know, October to December. Where there was a, for lack of a better way of putting it, a paperwork snafu, and it didn't get sent into Medicare. We had sent it in, and somewhere between us and Medicare, I don't know what happened exactly, but the fact is that they didn't get it and we weren't Medicare eligible provider. And I don't know if that's the proper term, but that's the term I'm using. So that revenue for those couple of months, whatever might have been 40,000, 50,000, I don't know. I know that there's been some discussion that you guys, your organization has gone through the contractual agreement that we have with JCHC as to whether or not any of those calls are billable to them. But my question is pretty much to the point and pretty blunt. The snafu was on your end not you specifically, but on your end. And, I don't think that we should be expected to write off that $40,000 or $50,000. You know, if we had dropped the ball and had not gotten the paperwork sent in or something, that would have been a little different scenario, but when we contracted with your company, I can't remember the exact words they used, but they basically would get us, these are probably not the proper terms, but licensed, everything we needed to do to be Medicare and Medicaid certified and all that happy stuff, or as a provider. And it didn't happen, and as such, there was a couple of months while we're providing services that we're not getting reimbursed for. And so I'm just wanting to know what your company's take is on that. And I'm probably putting you in a kind of a tough situation because you don't want to say anything that might be misconstrued, but I'm just saying that there's $40,000 or $50,000 out there that we shouldn't be forced to eat.
So,
Because of
yeah.
some other situation.
Absolutely. So what I'm doing currently is we have some of those trips actually billed out to Jefferson County Health Center, so the hospital. And we're waiting on response from that. And then what I will do from there is I will gather all of the information based on trips that have paid, based on trips that have not paid for those particular 2 months and 13 days. I have it down memorized for your agency.
We've talked many times about it.
12, well, it's technically 12 days because the approval was December 13th, but so what I'm going to do is once we hear back from the hospital, if they're going to pay for those particular trips that were JCHC versus if not, then what I'll do is I will pull the reports together, combine everything, push everything to a Medicare rate and Medicaid rate based on what would have been paid, and I will present that to my board of directors. So, and just to see what's willing there. Not stating that, and I also have to present a lot of other information as well. When things were submitted, when things were received by your agency, just to confirm if
Right.
any strews. So at this time, it is a pending situation, but it's nothing that hasn't already been discussed quite
Right.
a bit.
We appreciate your taking this project on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? I don't. Thank you. It's been enlightening.
Absolutely. And if you all ever have any other questions, Judy, of course, she has my contact information. So please feel free to reach out and let me know, or if my presence is needed, again, please just, I'm here for your agency. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Discuss and consider resolution to direct the County Commissioner of Elections to submit the question of adopting a levy and imposing a voter-approved emergency medical services EMS ad valorem property tax pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 422D.
Oh, that's longer than the resolution. Close.
Do we have
That's the resolution that I brought.
the one we just got? All right, so we're here. Lee, you want to read it?
Okay. Resolution to direct the county commissioner of elections to submit the question of adopting a levy and imposing the voter-approved emergency medical services tax pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 422D. Whereas Jefferson County Board of Supervisors declared emergency medical services to be an essential service in Jefferson County pursuant to a resolution adopted on June 24th, 2024, recognizing EMS as essential, preserve and improve the peace, safety, health, welfare, comfort, and convenience of its residents. And whereas the board has appointed the Jefferson County EMS System Advisory Council to provide guidance to the county, the needs of the county, and guiding implementation of EMS systems in the county. And whereas said EMS Advisory Council advised the Board of Supervisors of steps to preserve and improve the county EMS system, including the recommendation for additional funding to the system through a tax imposed pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 422D. And now therefore be it resolved by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors that it is in the interest of the county to place the matter of an EMS service levy under Iowa Code Chapter 422D before the voters of Jefferson County. Board of Supervisors shall file the proposition for the ballot with the Jefferson County Commissioner of Elections at least 60 days prior to the election. Shall the following public measure be adopted? Proposition. This is the language that will appear on the ballot. Shall Jefferson County Board of Supervisors, for the purpose of funding the Jefferson County Ambulance Service, including but not limited to ambulance service, personnel, vehicles, supplies, and equipment, be authorized for a period of 15 years to levy a tax not exceeding 75 cents per $1,000 taxable valuation on all taxable property within Jefferson County, with the levy of property taxes for the collection in the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025. Now let it be further resolved that the County Commissioner of Elections shall make the publication of the notice of election in a legal newspaper in the county once at least 60 days prior to the date of the election, as required by Iowa Code Section 422D.1, and shall prepare all ballots, election registers, and other supplies necessary for the proper and legal conduct of this election, adopted this 29th day of July, 2024.
Thanks for reading that. We worked on this last week at our work session on this. Shannon, thanks for putting the resolution together. And Chauncey, Elizabeth, thank you.
Thanks, Chauncey.
All right,
It doesn't say what election. Should that be included in this?
Well, you get it 60 days prior to an election, the
Then it
next
just
one.
goes on the next
Yeah.
year.
But it should be on in November. That's
Okay.
the expectation.
do we need to amend this at all for that? Okay, good question. Anything else on it? Otherwise, we need a motion.
Motion to approve the resolution to put public measure on the ballot for the EMS services levy.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discuss and consider fund transfer. This is, whereas it is desired to transfer 10,000 from the general basic fund to the general supplemental fund. And whereas said operating transfers are in accordance with the Code of Iowa. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Jefferson County as follows: the sum of $10,000 is ordered to be transferred from the general basic to the general supplemental fund effective July 29th, 2024. The auditor is directed to correct his books accordingly and to notify the treasurer of his operating transfer, accompanying the notification with a copy of the resolution and the record of its adoption. The above and foregoing resolution was adopted by the Board of Supervisors of Jefferson County effective July 29th, 2024.
That is just to maintain a positive fund balance for after tomorrow's payroll.
All right,
We're staying low on that general supplemental.
okay. We need a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, discuss and consider making an offer of employment for the ambulance director position. So this would be the candidate number 4 that we interviewed. And you've got a sample letter in there if you want it. I think you've all seen it. So if somebody wants to make a motion for that. And this would be pending the background check and the employment physical.
I guess I'm a little bit, oh, I don't want to say this, the chronology, I can't even say the word. Chronology of the process, kind of the cart before the horse here, I think, in some respects.
As far as what, waiting until the physical's done, is that what you mean?
No, I felt like that it would have been proper and professional to have a discussion. With the current director before making an offer.
You could have scheduled a meeting on that if you wanted.
I thought that that's what we were doing. I thought that that's what we discussed and that,
You know,
because originally on the agenda, then it was taken off, was a possible closed session.
I don't know anything about that, but
Yeah,
usually when you make a job offer, you know, if the person accepts, fine. If they don't accept, then you don't have to redo everything because you've already got your list written.
No, I understand that.
I guess I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was on for that purpose. I don't know.
Well,
So
I
I'm
don't know
sorry
what
if
purpose it
that's
was
a-
on there and I don't know what purpose it was taken off, but I'm just,
Yeah, I don't,
it just seems to me that this is not a reflection upon either individual. I'm just saying,
Right.
I feel like that
understand.
this isn't the proper way to do this. Might be a legal way of doing it, but I don't know that it's necessarily proper.
Right, so.
So what do you want, a motion?
Yeah, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I want to make a motion that we offer the position to this gentleman.
Do we have a second? I'll second it. Discussion.
Again, I reiterate that I think that we're putting the cart before the horse.
Noted.
I may be poor choice of words, but
Noted. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I,
Okay. All right, make committee reports.
I don't know if it's committees, but we spent a lot of time last week dealing with the ambulance, the proposed ambulance director.
Yeah. We had a department head meeting and we talked about scheduling an active intruder training, which we've talked about for months. So it's gonna be on August 28th. I don't have a time yet, but I just found out the date this morning, so stay tuned for the time on that. At a Grove Fairfield meeting, they talked about some housing projects and general update of the new superintendent. So. Any committees?
No, other than physical therapy, and then that meeting, we had department head meeting, then we had a meeting afterwards. Before.
We had a meeting on Monday for the EMS thing.
Yeah, I thought we had a Wednesday, we did a 10:30 meeting. Maybe oh, no, that's this week. Sorry. Okay. All right.
Pierce ahead of the game, Lee.
I know, it is what it is. My smart book isn't working right. So, well, just physical therapy.
All right,
It seems to be making some headway. Don't ask me how come, but matter of just, I don't know. I'm gonna open the
I'm
door.
not gonna
for you.
say a word.
I know.
I'm not gonna do it.
all righty, do we have a motion for claims and approved reports?
So move if you tell me what the. Motion to allow claims and approve reports in the amount of $205,186.36.
Okay. All righty. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Someone,
Well, wait a minute, we gotta vote on that first.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
right.
I mean, we don't have to. but-
no, we don't have to, but they'd like to check. tomorrow,
I will second your motion.
Okay.
Do we have any discussion?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in
Oh, we
favor?
meet Wednesday at 10:30.
Aye.
Said fuck. All
right. Thanks, everybody.